Let's head over to Philadelphia, where DeMarco Morgan is standing by. All right, DeMarco. So, I mean, I'm going to ask you this question, which is written in the teleprompter. How rowdy did things get after the win? But I can tell from the video you shot and what we're looking at behind you.
Oh, man, it was crazy. First, I got to tell you, I didn't get any sleep. I don't think anyone who was in Philadelphia last night or today has had any sleep after that amazing win there. Fans were completely shocked, but it was very rowdy. We saw people standing on top of ambulances, cars tipped over, some of the video that you've actually seen. And this awning right here behind me, which is outside of the Ritz-Carlton, was pulled down during the celebration, and that's just part of some of what we had witnessed last night. But fans overall, they were excited. They were cheering. We saw some who got out of hand, got into a little scuffle, a little fight there. But they were driving throughout the streets. You couldn't even walk through this area. That's just how packed it was. But they were shocked. They were excited. And, you know, hey, they were the underdogs. So, you know, when the underdogs pulled through, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, not only were they the underdogs, but they had kind of like, I mean, an okay season. They lost more than they won last year, so this is a real comeback. And they won with their backup quarterback, which is another sort of shock. I know you were out there. See, I know how Philly fans are, and they embrace that underdog status. But underneath, they're always, every year, they're like, this is the year, this is the year, this is the year. But this actually was the year. Were they stunned?
Yeah, they've been saying it for a long time. You clearly know. It was absolutely amazing. They've been saying that for a long time. You know, because you're a Philly girl as well, by way of Canada, of course, so we don't want to rule that out. But we know you claim Philly. Yeah, we know you claim Philly. But, I mean, they were just excited. I got to tell you, just the look on their faces was just absolutely amazing just to take in. And whether you were an Eagles fan or not, you were just excited just to see that they were all happy about this win. Apologize for that cleanup crew. He's got a lot of work to do. He was passing through here. There was a loud noise there, but I got a lot of cleanup to do. But people were just excited. Those who are Giants fans, and of course the Atlanta Falcons, I think everybody was just pulling for the Eagles because they were not liking the Patriots, and just the hate for Tom Brady. I've never experienced it in my life. But just from being in this crowd, I can tell you Brady is not welcomed in Philly for a long time.
Yeah, indeed. I don't think he's welcome here in New York City either. As a Giants fan, I can say that with some level of certainty. So we saw the cleanup crew behind you there, DeMarco, and this was anticipated. Anne-Marie and I all week had been talking about like what Philly fans would do if they won this game. And, you know, watching that video, those people turning over the car, I struggle to understand why when your sports team rah-rah wins, you have to destroy private property.
It's a lot of pent-up emotion. They have been waiting decades and decades.
Yeah, all right. So they destroyed private property. Were police prepared for this, DeMarco?
You know, they actually were prepared, believe it or not. And the one thing that I respect about the police last night, even though people were tipping over cars and you name it, they were very kind, and it was sort of like, okay, look, if there is ever a time to be excited or to be unruly to a certain extent, do it now. Don't bother the fans. As long as they're not hurting anyone or causing any harm to anyone, then it was okay. But I think they were sort of like outnumbered to a certain extent in certain areas. So, I mean, if people were pushing over a car, I mean, hey, you're not going to get in the way if it's just 3 or 4 or 5 cops. You're going to stand back and just make sure that no one is injured. But, I mean, you had cops on horses, on bikes, you name it. They were ready. They tried to grease down the poles with some hydraulic fluid. That didn't work because we saw several people still climbing the poles in here.
I think it rained a little bit last night, and that messed things up a little.
The rain?
The rain washed off some of that.
It did rain.
Yeah.
It rained, Anne-Marie, but it stopped. It stopped like right after the game. And I think had it continued to rain, then you probably wouldn't have had the enormous crowd that we saw. But once that rain cleared up, we were like, whoa, they're coming out here. We even saw one guy throwing out 20s and 50s and $100 bills off the top of his vehicle. I wanted to jump in, but I was like, nah, CBS may not be
making it rain.
Get you a little something.
Well, I will say about
making it rain.
About the officers, as I understand it, there weren't really a lot of arrests when you consider the mayhem that we witnessed. And even though you may be a police officers in Philly bleed green just like the rest of us. And so I'm sure they wish that they could have called out last night just to watch the game and, you know, engage in the revelry.
Yes, and enjoy it. But, you know, we even saw some of the cops. You said it, even saw some of the cops dancing, and it was just high fives. People were hugging the cops. So I think it was just a lot of love all around in the city of brotherly love.
Yep, it has to be expected.
DeMarco Morgan for us in Philadelphia. I mean, congratulations to all the Eagles fans. And DeMarco, thank you so much.